was the granddaughter of the Christian Bale character.
Yeah, she was
or
sitting
like
behind us in the theater.
yeah, or she was like the like a grand uncle maybe. I don't know, some family connection. Anyways, the point is she was right behind us, and I gotta say, this was a lot better than I was expecting.
I wasn't going into this expecting to love it as much as I did. I thought it was going to be about race cars, and
well, it kind of was.
I know, but a lot of racing movies are just boring and just about the car going fast. This is not about like just the cars. This is about the family connections, the friendships, the people, the kids that were involved. I loved it.
Yeah, and I think it's another special connection because my family, when we moved here from Pakistan, you know, they were connected to Ford, GM, Chrysler, Fiat, you know.
Is absolutely.
So like just having that like mindset that this is a very true story to like Detroit and Michigan and like what happened makes it extra special. I mean I picked up little things that I'm like, oh, they're not gonna do that. You saw like the newspaper, Detroit Independent or whatever it was, either got bought out or got switched to Detroit Free Press.
Yeah, the little Detroit details were nice.
Yeah, and you got to see well, Steph, my wife, she works she works at Ford Field, but she goes to the racetrack in Dearborn.
Yeah.
And like they do all kind of like car tests and racing things before they, you know, like sell it, like, you know, update the cars or whatever. That was actually the place. It was like really there.
You think they filmed on location?
Yeah. Like that was real and that happened, and I just ate it up. Like the history, the cars, the story of like Ferrari and what happened and how that like a Ford company is the only company to beat Ferrari.
Yeah, and this race, in the history of this race, is only one American company to beat Ferrari. So
yeah, and I thought that was just so cool. George, what did you think?
Well, I found it absolutely...
Speak louder, because that camera's way too far.
I found it absolutely fascinating.
Actually, you can move closer if that's okay. Thanks.
You won't fit in there.
Yeah. Oh, it won't? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
You guys need to kiss then.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Thank
Go ahead.
you.
Sorry, George.
Okay, so that's that. The connections between like the people and such, I found rather fascinating.
speak louder.
I'd have to say no, it's just David's. That's right. Gosh, the only
the connections between the characters really made the movie. They really show the friendship between I don't know what were the characters' names.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the actor.
That's the actor.
Yeah.
Shelby and Miles.
Shelby and Miles.
Shelby and Miles, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you saw like how they grew up together, were best friends. This is kind of a spoiler part, but I thought it was just the fight sequence is so funny.
So
It's not a
funny.
spoiler. It's in the trailer.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or I just didn't remember. But like, it's like if like me and my friend were fought, that's how we fight. Be like, oh, I'm
That's
jumping on you.
such a
and
guy thing.
I'm
I've
gonna
never
sucker punch you.
done
You know?
that with a girl.
I
Like,
thought
it
it was
doesn't-
absolutely hilarious how he decided. Well, shoot, that's a spoiler. Never mind.
No, you
Never
can
mind.
say it.
Okay, well, he had an option between hitting his friend in the head with a can or else
Or like
the
a Wonder Bread.
so he just starts beating him with Wonder Bread. That was hilarious.
That's exactly like I've been into a couple of fights with my cousins and like close friends in high school or whatever. You're trying to fight them and you're mad, but you're kind of like, well, I don't actually want to hurt them.
Yeah.
So you're like trying to decide what is like the best way to fight, but it looks so like a real fight always looks girly, like between friends, because it's like you want to hurt them, but you don't want to hurt them. So it's kind of like weird.
That's such a guy thing. I cannot relate at
Right.
all. But I do think girls will like this movie. It
Yeah.
is set in the 60s, so it has some really nice
But you never been in a cat fight before? Like, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about.
with my siblings, yes. But
Oh,
not with
yeah.
my friends.
Are you saying those two that fought in the movie were cat fighting?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was that's the most authentic real fight I've ever seen for a movie, because that's a real fight. Like when you see Jason Bourne, who Matt Damon plays, and Christian Bale is of course Batman, it's like very orchestrated and they're like basically superheroes.
And
But
this one was
here,
just counts.
I love when I was a Christian Bale, he just jumps on top of him and is just like holding it, like, I'm gonna get you.
I loved the scene in this movie where his wife is driving the car and wants to get information out of her husband, and so she starts driving crazy to freak him out.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
And he's just like eating chips. You should slow down.
Slow down, and it works, and she gets what she wants out of
Yeah.
him.
I'm gonna do that with my husband.
Yeah.
I'm just
Right,
kidding.
yeah. So go see it.
Yeah, sorry.
Especially if
long
you're
story
from
short,
the
yeah.
Detroit area, you're gonna love it. If you work for Ford, GM, or Chrysler, you're gonna love it.
Even if you don't know anything about cars or Detroit, I think you'll still love it because it's just
Yeah.
a really exciting film.
I think cars are boring, and I don't care about who wins a race. But guys, this movie was really good, and
Yeah.
it wasn't just about who wins or loses. I was on the edge of my seat for 90% of this movie.
Oh yeah, and
something I really liked also as well in this movie was they showed how much sacrifice they really made to perfect those cars, to work on them, to make sure that they were perfect for that race.
Right.
And that's something that you usually don't think about that. You know, you normally like, well, you know, they just race. You know, they got engineers designing all this. No, there are people spending their man hours working on these cars.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that the idea of like building this car from the ground up to go against a multi-million-dollar like Ferrari, like the best of the best, and like how to do that, they had to come up with like, you know, you got to see them making that car.
Yeah.
And like they're like, nope, don't need this, no, replace this. Why is it this way? These tires don't work. This hood needs to be higher, not lower, or like all those dimensions and things were just really fascinating. And I'm not even a car person, but it was exciting. Like I was like, oh yeah, like yeah, go do that with that car so you can beat Ferrari.
One of my favorite scenes in this movie, I think one of the best scenes in this movie by far, is when the race car driver takes Henry Ford II for a race car ride.
Don't say more than that because I think
it's in the trailer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. He's not expecting it to go at race car speeds, and he doesn't understand what he's in for. That was a great scene.
One of the best scenes, I would say, in the movie.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And just like the intensity, like I won't spoil it, but there's a scene where you really get mad at Ford and the marketing corporation side of it, or like you're like, okay, like they're trying to help you to beat Ferrari, but then like you're also doing this thing which is really shady, like why are you doing this? It's so stupid.
There's some weird things you don't understand why they did it.
Well, you did it for politics and for, you know, whatever, like marketing reasons.
Yeah.
But it's all just really dumb. You're like, no, like that shouldn't be in there. So you feel the ugly side of Ford, but you also see the beauty of Ford and what Ford did for Michigan and America too at the same time.
It's because some of those engineers were on a power trip.
Right.
Mention that.
Yeah, and like, you know, like those guys at the higher up, they're very narcissistic. I am the king of the world, and my way or the highway. Literally, that's not just an insight, like a joke. It's like my way or the highway, or else you're not gonna get the thing like where you get to drive it.
I feel like that's just sort of part of any executive position.
Right.
You know, like you have to have a certain amount of forcefulness in it, and especially in such a competitive market.
Right.
You're really, I mean, like it's nitty gritty there.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay, we're gonna cut this. This has already gone too long.
10 out of 10.
Go see it.
Would recommend. Go see it.
You go see it, George?
I would say to go see it. Yeah.
All right. We'll do a spoiler review, and we'll have our review up this weekend.
Go see it, yes. This is a yes.
Oh, okay. And we'll have our spoiler review up this weekend, and we're also going to do a review for Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. And you guys, did you see Midway?
Yes.
So we'll do a review for Midway.
I gotta say, it was my favorite horror movie so far.
Oh, wow.
And this
That's a high praise.
I'm not the only person to say that either. Some of my friends have also said it's their favorite, and they've seen quite a few. So.
Okay, sweet. And Shannon, you might go see Last Christmas or something. You said, I don't know.
Yeah, I might.
Oh no, you see Dr. Sleep. Go see Dr. Sleep, right?
I'll try to squeeze something in.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.
Have a great night. Bye.
Good night.